So here comes our learning objective 4, that is show the effects on contribution margin of changes in variable cost, fixed cost, selling price and volume. So basically in this lecture many things going to be repeated a number of times, so you can just grasp or digest the knowledge easily. So we're just going to go through LOS, learning objective 1 2 3, and today and this slide is going to be starting LOS 4. So let's move forward. The variable expense ratio. The variable expense ratio is the ratio of variable expense to sale, which means variable cost divided by sales, either in units or either in whole numbers, right? So you can read it by yourself here. So where this 60% came from, it came from either dividing 300 by 500 or either this 150,000 divided by the sales 250,000. Okay, it's 250,000. Okay, so in order to find out changes in fixed cost and sales volume, so let's assume that the management of RBC can increase unit sales from 500 to 540, and the monthly advertising budget increased by 10,000. So question is, would you recommend this campaign? So see if you can solve this problem before going to the next screen. Just pause here and try to solve it by yourself. Okay, let's go to the next screen. Here, so changes in fixed cost and sales volume, we are continuing this heading. So we know that the management has increased 10,000 units in the fixed cost as a budgeting expense. Our net fixed cost will increase from previously 80,000 to 90,000, right? So let's go to the section here. So this is the old situation where we were selling 500 units, and this is the new situation where we are selling 540,000 units. So our sale price is still 500. So here, as you can see, the sale is to 70,000, 540 multiplied by the 500, and our variable expense is to 70,000, sorry, 162,000. So our contribution margin is 108,000, right? And if you less the new fixed cost by adding advertising expense here, here, so you will found 18,000 net operating income. Wow, right? So this is the beauty of having the CVP analysis, that even though sale is increased by how much, my bad, sale is increased by how much, 20,000, but we see reduction in 2,000 of profit. Well, that's very amazing, you know, since sale increased by 20,000 but the net operating income is decreased by 2,000. So the advertising campaign certainly would not be a good idea. So we can help management see the problem before any additional money is spent, right? So by looking at the cost volume profit analysis, and you can see the relationship between fixed cost and sales volume, you can just say that the fixed costs play a very vital role in response to change in net operating income, right? So another way to see our previous example solution is just, you can see that how many units are sold, 40, and what was the CM per unit, 200. So this will go to the net operating income, 8,000 directly. But since we have increase in advertising cost, which is 10,000, so that is increase in CM, and that is minus increase in the cost, so we would be losing 2,000 in our net operating income, right? You can also solve this by a shortcut using CVP analysis. Now we want to see whether changes in variable cost and the sales volume will affect our net operating income or not. So for this purpose, management at RBC believe that using higher quality raw material will result in an increase in sales from 500 to 580 units, right? So the higher quality raw material will lead to $10 increase in variable cost per unit. So would you recommend to use the higher quality of raw material? So take a couple of minutes and help management to solve this question before moving to next slide. Here it is, the analysis. So previously we were selling 500 units and now we're selling 580. So 580 because we are not changing our sale price. Sale price is still $500, but we have increased our variable cost. So this previously the variable cost was 300, and now the new situation is that we must add $10 because we are using higher quality raw material. Sorry, here it is. So where this 179,000 came from? It came from multiplying 580,000 units to 310 variable cost, right? So this is our sale minus variable cost is our CM, and we don't have any change in variable cost, so this would be our profit. Woohoo! The profit is increased by $10,200. Amazing. So this is the beauty of having CVP analysis. So sale is increased by how much? 40,000 units. So when there is no change in fixed cost, the profit is increased by more than 50%. There is increase in 10,800, right? So what is the recommendation? The recommendation can be the use of higher quality raw materials appears to be a profitable idea. So now we're going to see in combination of changes in a fixed cost, sale price, and the volume altogether. So this is a more complex situation. So in this case, what is the profit impact if the RBC cuts its selling price 20 per unit, increases its advertising budget by 15,000 per month, but it increases its sales from 500 to 650. The same idea. Before going to the next slide, try to solve it by yourself and see whether this recommendation is good for the management or not. So here is the analysis. Since we have reduced $20 cost, so where this 312,000 came from, by multiplying 650 with the 480 new bicycle price, I got 312,000 here. we do not experience any kind of change in variable cost, right? Instead, we have increased our budget by 15,000. So this 15,000 is added into our fixed cost, and now you can see that previously the profit was how much? 20,000, and now the profit is increased by only 2,000 US dollar. So even though we have managed to increase our sales by 62,000, our net operating income is only increased by $2,000, right? And what are the reason here? Because there is a greater impact of changes in fixed costs rather than any kind of changes in the unit sold, or changes in the sale price, or changes in the variable cost. So now add more flavor of complexity to this question. So let's talk about change in variable cost, fixed cost, and sales volume all together. So here, so what is the profit impact of RBC if they have to pay $15 commission per bike sold instead of paying salesperson flat salary? It means it would be added into variable cost. So currently total 6,000 is their fixed salaries. It means they don't have to pay 6,000 salaries. It means reduction in fixed cost by 6,000. So an increase in units from 500 to 575 bikes. So before going to the next section, I advise you to pause the screen here and try to solve it by yourself, whether this recommendation is suitable or not. So here the old scenario is mentioned here. So we know that our variable cost has increased by 15 units. So this 300 was previous variable cost, and now we have increased 15, and we have finished paying flat salaries 6,000. So our fixed cost is decreased by 6,000, right? Now net operating income is increased by 12,375. I just want to say wow, right? So you know that sale is increased by 37,500 and accompanied by a decrease in fixed cost and increase in the variable cost, and you can see that profit is still increased by 12,375. Total profit is 32,375. So how did you do in your calculations? And I hope you are beginning to see the potential power of CVP analysis. So let's move further.